Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and I want to thank you specifically those who went on a rampage to subscribe to this page. I don't know how much I can thank you, and I can see most of the people are from Zimbabwe and some are from South Africa and Botswana, Zambia, and also a bit of Malawi. Thank you so much. This is a milestone for this channel. We have reached 1,000 and very soon we might reach more people. So thank you so much. So today, I want to talk about the situation in the country of Zimbabwe again, because I'm doing a series of the Zimbabwean problem. Then I will then move to Gabon in the afternoon. But then these days, I'm just focusing on Zimbabwe because it's a country where I come from. And yeah, kiss goes by favor. So the Zimbabwean problem has since stopped to become ZANU-PF, and it has now become ANC, which is the African National Congress of South Africa. And I think the most pertinent thing to take out from this is that ANC enjoys Zimbabwe being where it is. It's truly working as a sellout organization. Because let's be honest, if Zimbabweans are in a flourishing country, if Zimbabweans are in a proper country which does not need to get to South Africa, is that not good for both countries? Look at the influx of refugees and immigrants who are coming into South Africa. How do you equate that to something that is logical? It's quite funny. But anyway, let's get into it. And if you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe. And those who are coming back, I thank you so much, and I'm so appreciative because right now we have reached 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much, and let's keep on subscribing. So now those who are asking me about the way forward for Nelson Chamisa to overturn the election. The last video I didn't cover it because the editors were not really quite happy with how long the video was. So now we can have ample time to talk about it. So he will overturn the election, and I still maintain that fact because there is a lot of evidence that he can use. So I'll ask you a question about what caused ZANU-PF to stop the drama of 2008. And we can tell that all the other countries were not really interested in having ZANU-PF coming back into the seat of the 2008 election. But the only party that managed to talk to ZANU-PF and sit it down and let it understand what was at stake, it was the ANC government. So that's really something that we need to take home. So the people didn't want ZANU anymore, clearly, in 2008. And clearly this election has a lot of similarities as well to the 2008 election. So by then we should be aware that no one is ready for 5 more years under this administration. This one, everyone shares the same sentiments. Even those people who were forced to vote for this election, people don't want it anymore. People don't care about ZANU anymore. People want it out. People are tired. The only people who are happy, maybe some, are the top brass of the army who are eating. But then the young people, whether you're in the army, you're in the police, you're in any security organization, people are tired and they're ready for the next generation of leadership. We should understand that each and every generation has its own heroes. And if we don't say that, and if you don't tell ZANU-PF that, to say, you cannot tell us, Christopher Mchanga comes here and says, you should celebrate us because we freed you from the white colonialists. Thank you for what you did. But it was the struggle for that season. We cannot share the struggle for now. Now we're talking about the global health situation. Now we're talking about how to do 4th industrial revolution, the Internet of Things, the AIs. We're talking about advanced things. We're no longer talking about the bush wars. We're talking about the economic wars of Africa. We're talking about, liberating people from neo-colonial bondage, which is in place. ZANU-PF has no idea about fighting that. Only the young ones can do that, which is called a generational consensus. And ZANU should understand that people are tired because they don't know what they're fighting for. They're still fighting bush wars, whereas people are no longer interested in bush wars. So before I proceed with what Chamisa will do to surprise them into this election fraud, we should listen to what Mbalula said that no one should be allowed to even say on public.
We might have problems with ZANU-PF, but In Zimbabwe, you must know what is progressive and our ally is ZANU-PF. And reactionaries do not want us to say that. Nelson Chamisa and his allies are not our allies. They don't speak our language. They are not with us in this new world order agenda of the alternative, multipolar world we want to build. They are not with us. They are with the neoliberals and the liberal agenda in the world. As the ANC, we don't subscribe to that. We are anti-imperialist. So any political party that perpetuates the entrenchment of neocolonialism and imperialism is not our ally. It's not our ally. Our allies can be committing blunders, including the former liberation movements, but they remain our allies. These political liberation movements. You go to Nicaragua and the Sandinistas, they came back after 20 years. You know, if we were to lose power, comrades, we will never come back easily because development and boom of this economy is coming. And those who will win, they will look like they are nice guys who understand where this country is going. Ingumsebenzi we ANC. It's easy for anyone to open their mouth and criticize because that's what you suffer as an incumbent. That's what you suffer as an incumbent. Your task as an incumbent is to stay true to what you are supposed to do. That's why, as I conclude, we must never be tolerant to people who are deployed but are not doing the right things.
So after listening to what Mbalula said, here's the most interesting part. Why do we still have people who think that the ANC and ZANU are not the sellouts? Okay, let's be honest. South Africans clearly want ANC out because they've been selling out the black majority. Fact. ZANU-PF is wanted out by the youth because it's been selling out the majority. Okay, what's selling out? Selling out is having a child who goes to school without food and Colin Mnangagwa or whoever the twin is enjoying the benefits of his father's country, which no one actually has right over, which means the common man does not have right over this country. That's selling out. Selling out is millions and millions of people who are dying every month over poor health standards. That's selling out. It's not all these things that they're trying to bring out. Selling out is to go against the will of your people. We are the people. The public are the people. You do not detect what we see as selling out. ANC and ZANU-PF are the sellouts. I'll ask the ANC, what do you think about Nelson Chamisa and why do you think Nelson Chamisa is a sellout? Nelson Chamisa is simply asking questions like, why are you stealing the public funds? Nelson Chamisa is asking why you have to toss people around if they don't agree or they disagree with you. Is that selling out? Nelson Chamisa is simply asking questions like, do we need a country that is run by people who do not have regard of the people's hearts? Is that selling out? Okay, let's take you to some very weird, interesting things about the ED guy or the president of Zimbabwe. You see, there's a video that I saw of ED having a secret meeting with Tony Blair. So my question is, we know that Tony Blair has never been a fan or has never been a friend of the Zimbabwean government. His administration is the one that caused sanctions to happen. So in a layman's view, if I am just going to use my analytic view, I'll ask, was he not selling us out? It's a good question again. Remember, this meeting happened just after the expose of the gold mafia scandal. If you watched it, do you remember where the gold goes after Dubai? If you watched the gold mafia, where does the gold go after Dubai? If you can answer that in the comment section, then we will do a follow-up on that. So remember, Tony Blair was a sworn enemy of Robert Mugabe. Now, fast forward to 2008. Tony Blair launched his Tony Blair Africa Governance Initiative, which in the words of PLO Lumumba said,
Champaran philosophy is what we must define for ourselves. In the year 2005, the former Prime Minister of Britain, Tony Blair, put together 17 individuals in what was then called our common interest. The report on the African Commission. The Prime Minister, he was then the President of the European Union, from which Britain has now left, and he was also the President of the G8 at that time before the exclusion of Russia. They produced a report. Right now, when I see the Blair Institute moving around Africa, they are implementing exactly what was in that particular report, and I have a copy of it, not for the benefit of Africa, but for the benefit of the Institute. And what they have done is to sugarcoat it and camouflage it for the purpose of hoodwinking Africa and for the purposes of creating an environment which benefits foreign companies to the detriment of the continent of Africa. So that some of these engagements are anodinal. They simply lull us into a false sense of security. Do I blame them? No.
So seeing almost 3 occasions where ED met with Blair, one can only ask, in my own opinion, well, I stand to be corrected, Simon says, who is the sellout? With the history that Blair had as a sworn enemy of Robert, what does he have that he can give Blair, who is his late predecessor's enemy? What does he have? Let's be honest, guys. If by clear definition, ED was the one who removed Mugabe in power, then he is seen on several occasions, including one in Rwanda where he flew to Rwanda to meet Tony Blair. What is the point? Just have to ask. So at this point in time, the young people are not interested in propaganda of selling out, and the one basic thing that should come out of their minerals, they want to flourish, they want water from the tapes, and the one basic income for them. Right now, the ANC government is battling to curb the influx of illegal immigrants, of which most of those are Zimbabweans, and they still support the same government. So Mr. Mbalula, this is not only unfair to the people of Zimbabwe, but to your people too. What do South African young people have to learn from you if you are supporting a government that is causing risk of another xenophobic attack or another Afrophobic attack, as we say? Is that a good thing for a government? Now, there are few things that Nelson Chamisa needs to do. This is now the part people were waiting for. It's a short video. Now, first is to present Section 62 of the Zimbabwean Constitution, which allows people to have access to any information held by the state for public interest. What am I saying? I think for the purpose of information, please put it on the screen so that people understand where I'm coming from. So, this issue of the V11s, which are not being publicized by the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, the country has to understand that they have a right to every state documentation as long as it is of public interest. And to be honest with you, 1.9 million people define the public. If you're 1.9 million people who voted for Nelson Chamisa, you are part of the public. And your disgruntlement is something to consider if anything goes wrong. Now, the breach of the Constitution by the Electoral Commission is so significant. And if he brings that to the Concord, it will hold much water. The second thing Nelson Chamisa can do, or is to do, Chamisa has to get into a deal with people like Malema. Why is it important to get into deals with people like Malema? Malema is honest. He is saying the truth about what should happen in Zimbabwe. A transitional government is needed in Zimbabwe. So Nelson Chamisa should have a deal with Malema to organize a 2-country solidarity movement against the both dictatorial regimes. And this one, let's be honest, it's nothing to do with political outfits. It's nothing to do with nationalities. The Zimbabwean people and the South African people should galvanize each other. Youth groups should actually be formed and go against what the ANC has said. If we start from South Africa, they'll feel the pressure and tell ZANU-PF the truth. And that's what I think of. So, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, these are the 2 points that I think Nelson Chamisa should do. Because without external pressure and internal pressure, this country cannot go forward. And the people in Zimbabwe also should now develop a lever. Peaceful protest, let the world know, let the world watch. Please, don't forget to subscribe, comment, and let us know what you think about this suggestion that I've given. Till next time, ladies and gentlemen, thank you.